Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are brand new here. My name is Samantha. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a much anticipated brand new launch from Anastasia Beverly Hills. So it is the new Norvina palette that I'm going to be sharing with you today. I'm going to be giving you as much information in this one video. So I'm going to be sharing with you a look around the palette. I'm going to be sharing with you swatches, a try on and a possible dupe, which I will share with you later on in the video. But first of all, I'm going to be sharing with you where you can pick this up from. So here in the UK, there is now an Anastasia Beverly Hills UK site. So I will link that down below where you can purchase it from, and obviously the link for you. I'm also going to share with you and show you around the palette. So first of all, the packaging. So the packaging looks like this. So it's all very purple, all very ethereal, and I love that. I think there is so many warm palettes that are being released, all of those oranges, those reds, and they're stunning, and I love a warm palette. But I want something different, and when I saw pictures of this a couple of weeks ago, I thought, wow, I really want to pick it up, because not only do I love the Anastasia Beverly Hills, the new formulation seems to be really good, but also I just like that they come up with different things. I was one of the only people that actually loved the Subculture palette. I still love it. In fact, there was two shades in that palette, Cube and Electric, which didn't suit my eyes at all, so I did actually give the palette away, but I've actually repurchased it more recently and they seem to have reformulated. I'm not having any problems with it, and even though I have purchased two palettes, I loved both of those palettes. I can make both of those work on my eyes. But I do feel that all of the Anastasia Beverly Hills, the formulation is always a little bit powdery. I found with my Subculture palette that it had the same fallout as the Modern Renaissance, as the Soft Glam, and I've already done swatches of this palette for you, and I also feel that this one has the same formulation. So the packaging, as I mentioned, is very purple, very ethereal. It's very plain on the front with the name of the palette, sorry, Norvina, with the Anastasia Beverly Hills logo. On the back, you get all of the ingredients along with what the palette looks like. And what I'm really pleased about is that this palette, now the expiry date says 18 months rather than the 6 month on the other palettes. So I'm really pleased about that, because for me it's very, very difficult to use a palette up in 6 months. Obviously, they do last longer than that, but to have 6 months as a expiry date is very, very short for such a, if it was a quad or perhaps just one eyeshadow, that would be fine, but we're talking about, a whole palette here. So I'm really pleased with the expiry date being extended. So that's the packaging. Also, and I've already taken this sheet out, it comes with one of those sheets. I've taken mine out because, it's not in transit anymore, so that's fine. Now getting on to the good bit, a look around the actual palette. Now, as usual, it is the felt style palette or material. You've got the name of the palette that is followed through from the outer packaging, along with the logo there in rose gold. On the back, you've got a sticker with a little bit of information there, also giving you the expiry date and so forth if you're going to dispose of the outer packaging. And then inside, as always, you get that mirror with the film that you can peel off, but I never use these mirrors, so that's fine. And then this is the good bit. So this is what the actual palette looks like. So you've got all of those shades. What I really like actually is the design of the palette. The shimmers are on the top, the mattes are on the bottom. So yeah, I really love that. And I, again, really love the shades in here. Again, very ethereal, beautiful, very feminine. Something a little bit different, something different to the warm tones, those, red, orange, sunset tones that we are so used to seeing at the moment. So really loving that. So what I'm going to do now is go through the swatches. I'll go through the top row first. So here you can see this is Dreamer, the very first shade, a beautiful neutral shimmer. Then we have Summer, which, as you can see from the swatch, I thought was going to go on and on and on. These are so soft, so buttery. They feel, I mean, obviously the palette is £43 here in the UK. Doesn't quite translate to the $42 in the US, but nevertheless is what I always pay for an Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. I'm happy to pay for it. Obviously, if I wasn't, I wouldn't have purchased it. But I can feel the quality already. That beautiful shade Summer, just like I said, it would have gone round the whole of my wrist. It is beautiful. The next is a shade that I'm very excited about, Wild Child. It looks stunning, and I'm all about the pink at the moment. Then we have Rose Gold, another shade that I thought was going to go on and on, but I stopped there. But it felt the same as this one, Summer. It had that same, it actually feels like it's a little bit liquidy. It feels that kind of, it doesn't feel dry at all, just stunning. So I love that Rose Gold shade. Then we have this beautiful purple, and purples are everywhere. If you've been watching my channel, purple has been in a lot of the palettes that I have been sharing with you, and this one is called Celestial. We then have Dazzling, which is another neutral shimmer. As you can tell, I'm excited. I'm getting my words all confused. So that's Dazzling. And then we have this shade Drama, which is possibly going to be not a shade that I use a great deal of. It's one of those brown tones with a little bit of purple to it, but I suppose you never know, I might use it. So that's the first row for you. Absolutely stunning, beautiful shades. Moving on to the next row, that matte row, we've got Base here. So that's an important shade, but it doesn't translate well on my skin because it's one of those, as the name suggests, base shades. Then we have a shade that I was really excited about, Soul. It does actually, obviously it's a matte row, but it does have a little bit of a sheen to it. So I'm quite interested to see how that actually translates on the eye. Then we have this shade Incense, and I'm all about these tones at the moment, those really grungy tones. Again, if you've been watching my channel, you know that I'm loving those warm, grungy tones, and actually that one swatches much more grungy than it looks in the pan, so really excited about that. Another shade that I'm very excited about, this one is called Love, and again, very much like Soul, it's got a little bit of a sheen to it, so again, very interested in that. Then we have this shade called Volatile, and it's one of those neutral, deeper brown tones that really is necessary in a palette like this. Then we have Eccentric. Again, beautiful, warm, rich tone that I'm really loving at the moment. Much more of that sort of orangey tone than that one, Incense, but again, I really love it. I'm all about these at the moment. And again, you've got one of those deeper shades. That one was brown, this one's got a little bit of burgundy in it. Beautiful. So I love the colour story with this palette. Stunning. And I just love the quality. So now moving on to the eye look. So I'll do the eye look, and then obviously I'll finish off with what I think could possibly be a dupe. And if you've been watching my channel, you have been asking and requesting for this video. So I thought I would mix it all up and put it into one video and not spread it out too much. I mean, obviously, if I like this eye look and I like the quality and you're enjoying this palette, I may share with you another look. And if you're interested in that, then obviously do let me know down below. I think I know what kind of look that I want. I want to go quite pink toned. I've actually gone quite purple toned over the last week or so. So I want to go quite pink, but I really also want to incorporate that Soul shade. So I'm not quite sure. We'll have to see. First of all, I'm just going to look at my base because I have primed my eyes already, and I've already used and it is the Revolution Pro Eye Elements in Central. I'm now using this shade, and it's much more of a pink toned. and I'm just loving it. The other shade, Core, I could tell that it was so much thicker than this one, and that's because obviously I've been using it for a while. The air possibly got to it. So yeah, really like this. Now I'm going to go in with, I think, Incense to start with. So I'm going to go in with Incense, which was this one here, just to give me a little bit of a neutral base, and then I'm going to go in with the shade Love, I think. So I've got my classic brush that I love, my Primark Eye Contour brush, and I'm just going to put my brush in. I am quite gentle when I'm using the palettes and the shades from the Anastasia Beverly Hills, because I know that they do kick up. This one is exactly the same. There is kick up. I'm just going to show you, just in case you are a little bit concerned. So I'm using this shade here, the third one along, and you can see that kick up there. No more than usual. So it's nothing that I'm overtly alarmed about. So I'm just going to just put that in the crease and take that up a little bit. I would have gone in with, you know, straight away with the shade Love, but because I've got hooded eyes, I want to give a little bit of dimension first of all. So I'm just blending that out. And then I'm going back into that and picking up the excess that has been kicked up. And I'm just going to then do the same thing with the other eye and then blend that out. As you can see, they are very, very pigmented, but they blend out beautifully. That's what I love about these. I'm just going to go over the other side with a little bit more, build that up a little bit. As I say, if I don't add a little bit of dimension, then, you know, I've just got hooded eyes, so I have to do this step. So that is the first shade laid down. I can already tell that these are the same quality as their previous palettes, very pigmented, just beautiful. Yes, they do kick up, but you know, I'm aware of that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going in with the shade Love, which was, where are we? This shade here, that one. So I'm just going to get that on the brush. Just going to tap off a little bit. Ooh. That is beautiful. I love that colour. Blends really, really well with that over the top of that first shade. Absolutely beautifully. So if you have any concerns, you know, like perhaps, you know, there was a lot of videos on the Subculture palette saying that, you know, the colours didn't blend. A lot of people had difficulty with their palette. So I don't know if I was just lucky with the two that I've purchased, or whether, you know, perhaps there was a batch issue. I just don't know, because a lot of people did have trouble. But this is, you know, the shades are blending beautifully. That's another thing that I like to do. I tend to, in my testing videos especially, put colours over the top of other colours, you know, to see if they work. Now, also what I've noticed is that, yes, there was a little bit of a sheen with that Love colour. There is a sheen with it. But even though there's a sheen, it doesn't, I mean, I don't really have, you know, too many lines on my eyes, even though they are hooded. But what I will say is that, and I know a lot of you out there do not like putting shimmers in your crease for that very reason, because of course shimmer does highlight any lines, you know, that we have on the eye. But even though that Love shade has got a sheen to it, you know, not much of a sheen, but it has definitely got a sheen. It's not completely matte. It doesn't highlight any issues that I may have, or enhance them, I suppose. It doesn't enhance any lines that I've got on my eye. So yeah, really, really pleased with that. So that can definitely be used as a crease shade. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to just take that Love shade and put that underneath the eye. Yep, like that. I love that so, so much. That is such a beautiful colour. It's so warm. Oh, beautiful. And I don't actually think I've got a colour like this in my collection. I could be wrong, but I really don't think so. And I must admit, I think pink is now coming back, and I'm really, really glad for that, because for a long while it was just, you know, neutrals and those red tones, as I've mentioned. So I'm really, really pleased with the fact that, you know, these different coloured palettes are coming out. Oh, that is so beautiful. Now I want to deepen up this area a little bit, not too much. So I'm going to go in with Passion, which is this shade here. So I'm going to keep with the like red tone, but I just want to add a little bit of depth. I think I'm going to have to do another look with that Soul, or should I go in with the Soul shade, because that's what I really wanted to do. I think that's what I will do, and I'm going to change my brush, get a new brush. So I'm going to go in with Soul, that one there, and then just add a little bit of depth there. I think it could just be, you know, classic to go in with that Passion shade. So I'm going to go in with Soul and just pop that there. In fact, actually, I think I'm going to take that all over the lid. I want to do something different, like that. And I'm going to go all over this side. Like that. Actually, that doesn't look too bad at all. Again, that has got some of that shimmer in. That has definitely got a little bit of shimmer, but again, it's like that Love shade, not too much, not over the top. So yeah, really, really like that. I'm just going to take it up a little bit, blend it out. Just going to get my other brush actually. Love that. Something totally, totally different, isn't it? So really pleased with that. I don't think I'm going to add any more depth or anything like that. I think that Soul shade is definitely giving me the depth. I don't want to get too dark, and I'm really, really enjoying that. Now, what I want to do is add a little bit of shimmer, and I really want to go in with that Wild Child shade. So I'm just going to get a little bit of that on my finger, and I'm going to put it in the middle here. Wow, that is beautiful. Okay, I'm now going to get a little bit more, and then just add that here. Wow, that is beautiful, and it works so nicely with you know, the shade that I've got on my eye already. I think I might need to put it a little bit more over there. That's better. Now what I'm going to do is I'm getting a thinner brush. That one. Yep, These are from my Next brush collection that I recently shared with you. I'm going back into the Soul shade, and I'm just going to add a little bit more and then blend the edges a little bit. And then the other side. Like that. I'm then just going to get my original brush and just go through the crease like that. I'm then going to get a thinner brush, just going to make sure there's nothing on that. And then I'm going to get, I think I'm going to get Wild Child again, which is that beautiful pink that's now on my lid. And I'm just going to add, wow, it works perfectly with a brush as well as a finger. It is extremely pigmented, as you can see there. So again, I'm just going to do the other eye. I forget every time I use one palette from another brand and then I use Anastasia Beverly Hills, I have to get used to it all over again because it is so different, so, you know, such good quality, and you just don't need a lot of it to create a beautiful look. That Wild Child shade is absolutely stunning. I love that. Okay, now I'm going to line my eyes, if I can get the lid off, there we go, with the Revolution HD Smoky liner. Like that. Then I'm going to apply my, thank goodness I've managed to pick this up, mascara. It's the Primark PS Amplif-eyed mascara, so I'm just going to apply a little bit of that. Try not to get it on my hair. So that is my finished look using the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette. I absolutely love it. I love every time that I blink I can see that beautiful Wild Child look shade. Okay, now on to the bit of the video that I wanted to see if there was a possible dupe. Now for the last week or so, in fact this palette was released just over 2 weeks ago. It is the Revolution Reloaded Visionary palette and it looks like this. It's already well loved and the shades in here look like this. Now you have been contacting me to say I think that the Norvina palette looks very, very much like the Visionary palette. So let me just put them side by side. So there they are. Okay, I hope you can see both of those okay. So that is the palettes side by side. What I will say is straight away there is a very similar colour story in that there are purples in there, there's neutrals and there is that pink. So what I'm going to do is I've left spaces in between the swatches on purpose so that I can see if these shades from this one. I'm not going to try and do, you know, Anastasia on one eye and Revolution on the other. What I wanted to do was share with you just swatches. this time. So I can definitely see already that there is a shade, that pink shade. So Wild Child is a pink shade. There's that beautiful pink shade right in the middle there. That one looks very similar. So I'm going to just pick that up and then swatch that beside it. So there is the very first one, that is Revolution, that is Wild Child there. So you can see that although they are pink, the Revolution one is a little bit more metallic. So there's that one. So I'm just going to clean my finger. Then we've got Celestial from the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, which is very purple inspired. So from the Revolution palette we have got two, that one and that one. So I'm going to try both of them, I think. Put them either side and see how that works. So that's the really icy shade swatched next to Celestial. Definitely not a dupe. I'm going to try the deeper shade from the Revolution palette. And there's that one there, sorry. That one there. I think the Anastasia Beverly Hills is a little bit more purple. Probably more like this one. And this one is matte, so it's not a shimmery at all. So then looking at the other shimmers, I mean basically apart from that white one there's that one there, and there's just not a match for it at all. I will just swatch it. I'll do it here. And you can see that one there, it doesn't match any of the tones from the Anastasia. I mean, definitely not that one. That one's more of a neutral. This is much more icy with a hint of gold in it. So I would say that yes, although there is, you know, some purple shimmers and pink, the pink is probably more of a dupe, but not quite. Let me just put a little bit more of Celestial on there because seem to have swatched it away a little bit. I'm just going to swatch that purple actually in the middle and follow it on from, it's matte so it's not swatching terribly well. So there is the purple. I hope you can see that. I must admit, if that had a shimmer to it, that would actually near enough be spot on, I think, but it's matte. Let me just see if I can swatch it elsewhere because that is such a difficult place to swatch. I've swatched it there. I've not got much more room. That one is much more of a dupe, but of course it's not shimmery. It is matte. I think it possibly would give you that look, perhaps if you yeah, it would give you the look, but it would just not give you the shimmer, I suppose. Now looking at the mattes, because there are only 4 shimmers within that Revolution palette. So we're now looking at this top row here. So looking in here, there is this shade here, which is quite, well, it's a beautiful, they're all beautiful shades. So I'm going to see if I can find a dupe for that. I was just going to see if that one is a dupe for that, but it's not at all. I'm just going to see if this one, I should be swatching it. Let me just wipe those off and swatch them side by side because I can't show too much of my arm on camera. Let's try that again. So that one. Okay, so I've put that one side by side. It's definitely not a dupe. That one from a Revolution has actually got a little bit more of a pink tone to it. This one from Revolution, which is that shade there, that one there, I thought might be a dupe for Passion. It's not spot on, but actually I think it would possibly give you a, you know, a relatively similar eye look. So this is the Norvina, this is the Revolution. So yeah, not quite the same at all, but again, it will give you that depth. There's this one here as well. Let me just try this one. No, that one hasn't worked either. Okay, so I've gone in with this one here, that one there, which is another quite deep tone, and I've swatched it either side. So this is Norvina, this is the first shade I swatched from Revolution, and this is the second. It's a little bit more of a mauvey tone rather than a burgundy tone. So again, no match there. I'm just going to have a look at the pink shade. There's not really a pink shade in here. Again, I'm going to go for that one at the bottom and see if that matches that Love shade. So again, I've gone in with this one here because it has got the pinkest tone to it, and I've put it near to Love. Again, Love is just too pink. I mean, you saw when I put it on the eye that it really did give a beautiful pink sheen. And there's definitely not any of those like Eccentric, those, you know, orangey brown shades. There's definitely not one of them, one of those shades at all in here. It's more mauvey, it's more of your cool tone. There are some warm shades in here, but none of them really match the Norvina palette. It may give you the same or similar eye look, but there's no pink, is there, apart from, you know, that one there. But the Norvina palette is a much more warmer pink, whereas the Revolution shade is cooler. So I would say that unfortunately the Revolution palette is definitely not a dupe for the Norvina. So the Revolution is not a dupe for the Norvina. There are similar shades and there are some similar colour stories, as in, you know, there's purples and there's pink, but it's just not a spot on match, as you've seen from the swatches that I've done. And with the Revolution, there is only 4 shimmers compared to 2, 4, 6, 7 shimmers and then 7 mattes, or I should say 7 shimmers, 5 mattes, and then 2 mattes with a little bit of a sheen to them. So yeah, I mean, I love both palettes. I'm not saying don't get this or don't get the Anastasia Beverly Hills. You requested this, you know, you were sending me the comments saying that you thought it could be a match, so I thought I would just add it on to the end of this video. This is why I've picked up the Norvina palette, because I really like the colour story in here. I like palettes that are a little bit different. I think for a moment there were a lot of palettes that were being released that seemed to have the same colours in them, you know, those sunset shades, those oranges, those red tones, and yeah, I do like those, but once you've got one palette with those shades in, do you need another one? So I'm really pleased that now brands are launching other palettes that are different. So more notably the Norvina palette, of course, which I'm sharing with you today. And of course, Revolution are also coming out with some beautiful palettes. Can't wait to see what else they release very, very soon. So it's all very, very exciting in the makeup industry, the makeup world at the moment. I'm really excited about the makeup that's being launched. I'm really excited about this. If you would like to see another look from this palette, let me know down below, and of course I will do that for you. And yeah, of course, until tomorrow now, thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Bye.